He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram of Joe Ingram Law. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years' experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Alabama's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. Today is January the 24th. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, your Alabama lawyer, on WERC 105.5 FM, just off of the UAB campus and Regions Baseball Field, WBHP 102.5 in Huntsville, and WRTR 105.9 in Tuscaloosa. We welcome those in Huntsville and Tuscaloosa to our show. We had a tremendous amount of downloads in the last week. Kudos to Pam Casey. She was a great guest. A lot of people listened to that interview. She handled the interview well. And if you listened to her interview last week, there was a person that was sentenced this week up in Blount County for a sex case of a child. He got life in prison. So she stuck to her guns. She stuck to what she said she was going to do. If you're listening to our show, you can download the podcast, share it, like it, download it, encourage others to tune in every week to join our broadcast. Starting in February, our show will begin videotaping it. So you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on TikTok. All these other social media platforms, you can start watching the show as well as listening to us on the radio. If you have a question, go to the iHeart app on your phone. That's the Spy for Rent hotline. Jeff Hammock, Corey Fuller are the names to know. You can send us a question or a comment if you have on the Spy for Rent hotline. They are the best investigators in the state, and they are the ones that my firm uses exclusively. So they can help you if you have that need. We had a message off the hotline last week. Just do this real briefly. Her name was Emily. She has been married for 19 years. Her husband is the primary source of income. The home is paid for. Their child is about to go off to college. They have a sizable amount of money in his 401k. All the cars are paid for. He told his wife he's leaving in June. She goes, Joe, what do I do? Where do I start? Well, there's a lot to unpack there. Emily, best advice I can give you right now is talk to your husband. Start gathering documents. As I always say, tax returns, bank statements, W-2s, 401k statements, documents related to the house, evidence of all the incomes, assets, liabilities, things like that, and then go see a divorce lawyer in March or April to prepare for what is coming. Our special guest today is a gentleman named Elvis Casely. He works with the Casley Group out of Miami, Florida. They create great video content for websites. He travels the country. He talks to attorneys. He interviews attorneys all the time. He's going to be our guest today. My office represents people from Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, and Mobile. If you need representation, please call my office, 205-825-5297. 205-825-5297. You can speak with an intake specialist, and they will get you in for a consultation. My office represents people in divorce cases, people for alimony. We handle prenups, postnups, modification of divorce decrees, things of that nature. We've had a very busy January. We're off to a good start. We've already had 12 new clients for the year, and we look forward to representing those folks in the coming months. We also represent people in criminal cases statewide. We represent people in state court for felonies. We represent people in federal court that are charged with serious felonies. Those type of cases are everything from manslaughter to theft of property, robbery, drugs, drug trafficking, things of that nature. Federal crimes would be convicted felons and charged with having a firearm in their possession. We represent a lot of professionals charged with a licensing board issue, such as doctors, pharmacists, pharmacy techs, nurses, nurse practitioners, dentists, dental assistants, teachers. Any licensing board in the state, we provide representation as well. We also represent people in municipal court. Municipal court is what I call money court, folks. I'm sorry, it is what it is. They're misdemeanors. They're either DUIs, domestic violence, or possession of marijuana second. So that's a little bit about us. Let's introduce our guest. He just got into the studio. Elvis Casely is running for the 35th House District over in Georgia. Elvis, you're in the house, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I drove here this morning just to be here.
Elvis, tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a 31-year-old husband and father to a beautiful wife and a little 1-year-old boy. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, but Georgia is my home now. And for a time, such as that we're living in right now, I believe that Georgians are looking for somebody who actually represents them, right? I'm not a career politician. I know you introduced me as a candidate, but I'm not a career politician. I'm not some rich guy with a bunch of money behind me to push me to the top. My team is not a big team, but it's the greatest team. It's my wife, my son, and God. And I joined this race to make a difference and to actually represent the people of District 35 who, not to be rude to the woman who's in the seat right now, but I call her Lisa Do Nothing Campbell because she's literally done nothing.
Well, Elvis, if you're going to be in politics, you got to get used to being a little rude.
So I've been told.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Lisa Campbell has the seat currently?
Yes.
Okay, how long has she been in the seat?
She was elected originally in 22.
22. All right, so this is her first time to defend the seat in election?
This will be her second time defending the seat.
Okay, all right, very good. So, Elvis, as a young man, what made you decide to put your toe in the water and do this? I mean, you got a really good career, what you're doing. Why are you doing this?
I've always had a desire to get involved in politics and share my 2 cents with society. But I never had a strong enough reason why to do so. Last year when my son was born and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, man, I complain almost every day about politicians and whatnot because I have friends and we have political debates all the time. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to criticize a politician or the government or something like that, I should be able to put my money or my mouth, where my mouth is, right?
Right.
And my dad raised me and all my siblings to believe that if you're not willing to do something yourself, you can't complain about how somebody else does it. So if you're going to complain, better do it yourself.
Yeah. What is the geographic location for this district you're running for?
So it's Kennesaw, Ackworth, and like the top part of Marietta.
Okay. And so how many people are running? Are you running as a Republican or a Democrat?
I'm running as a Republican.
Running as a Republican.
And as of right now, I'm the only Republican in the race, and Lisa is the only Democrat. There's not another Democrat challenging her. And I would love to argue on her ideologies, but that in this situation, first off, ideology doesn't matter because she hasn't done anything for me to argue against in the sense that there's no bill that she passed. There's no thing that she pushed for that I can argue against because she hasn't done anything for me to argue against. So even if she was a Republican or even if I was a Democrat, I would be either primarying her or still challenging her for her seat, because representation isn't just about getting in and just hanging your coat on your party coattails, right? You go in there to do something. You go into politics because you have ideas of how to better society. And if you're not actively pushing for something, if you're not finding ways to get things done, then you need to step aside and allow somebody else to do it.
So let me ask you this. Presumably, I would think she has a website.
Yes.
All right. Of things that she believes in or things that she claims that she's accomplished in her time in office?
Yes. So right now, her website, I went to it just a few days ago, and it's a bit misleading because when you go to her quote unquote record section of her page, it lists this long list of things. However, they're all from this year. So she decided the election year is the year that she's going to start promoting stuff. And then you look at a lot of these stuff, and most of them aren't even her ideas. And this is what I mean by hanging on to the coattails of her Democrat colleagues, because she's just tagging along with whatever they say. She's not promoting her own ideas. She's just copying or going along with whatever they say. They say vote yes, she votes yes. They say vote no, she votes no.
Yeah. What is the makeup over in Georgia in the body? Is it a majority Republicans or is it a majority Democrats right now?
It's a majority Republicans.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to win the primary, and if you don't have any opposition, then you'll be the Republican candidate. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you feel strongly about, or what are some of the things that you want to bring to the table as part of as legislation?
So for me, I think healthcare is a really big thing. Over the past year, I've been getting into fitness. I saw a picture of myself playing with my son, and I'm a skinny guy. I've always been skinny, but I was bending over to pick him up or play with him. My wife took the picture, and I said, delete that, because I saw a gut, right? And then I was realizing I'm getting winded chasing after a 6-month-old who can barely run at 1 mile per hour. And I'm like, if I don't do something now, he's going to be 18 or older, and I'm going to have serious health conditions. And then I thought, how can I help other people prevent themselves from getting into that situation? Because besides your health conditions, that comes with healthcare costs, and healthcare costs go through the roof with things like heart disease, diabetes, and just poor eating. A lot of the things that we deal with on the healthcare side are preventable if we just eat right and exercise. So I want to promote bills that push people and help people make that transition in their life easier. Promoting, for example, one of my ideas was to have gym memberships and other fitness programs be tax deductible, right? Because if you're investing in your own health via going to the gym, eating right, that should come out as an expense, because that is healthcare right there.
Right.
And if we only look at healthcare as what the pharmaceutical company can inject in my veins, we're never going to get to a point where people don't need a pill for every other problem that they have. So one of my main priorities is to help push bills that promote people taking accountability over their own health and helping them make healthier choices easier.
Okay. Is there anything else besides healthcare that's really on the forefront of you running for office?
The other issue I had, which was resolved temporarily by our current president, my sister is a athlete. Mm-hmm. She's a Taekwondo athlete. I go to tournaments with her. We were in Wales representing the USA, and she took home 2 gold medals in Taekwondo. And that was the beginning of, years ago, my political shift from the Democratic Party to the Republican. Yes, shocker. mic drop. I was a Democrat before I was a Republican, but my big thing was making sure that we keep sanity in our sports and in our women's spaces, regardless of how people choose to identify. It's nothing against them, but for me, on a safety level, it does not make sense to have my little sister go up against somebody even her own age who's a boy. I'm sorry, but I don't care how you identify outside of the realm of sports. Do you. This is America, the land of the free, home of the brave. You do whatever you want. But when it comes to interacting with other people and their safety gets involved, that's when I feel that's the only time I feel like government can get involved, when one person's liberty is trumped over another's just for a feeling. So that kind of is resolved at the moment with an executive order, but I feel it can go a step further by implementing that hard law here in Georgia, which I think we, in ways, already do. But that was another of my main reasons for getting into politics.
Yeah. So have you been out talking to your neighbors, your voters, your electorate, the people in your district?
Yeah, I've gone around knocking on doors. I've met a lot of great people. It's a lot of fun getting into debates. I've talked to one gentleman probably like 5 minutes up the road from my own home for a good hour in his driveway. And while the last thing I was just talking about was a social issue, though I do think it branches off into a safety issue, most people don't give a damn about social issues. Everybody's worried about cost of living, their home prices, the taxes, the cost of food, the cost of rent. And I think right now what's getting lost in the sauce when it comes to politics are all the little things that actually make a difference in everybody's life. So I feel like these social issues about pronouns or who was wronged in the past versus who's being wronged now, blah, blah. All these things are luxuries of a society that has everything going good as far as healthcare, cost of living, good food. If all those things are great, then we can argue all day long about social issues. But right now, those things aren't great. Yeah. So to argue about social issues is a distraction. And what I've learned from being out on the campaign trail and knocking on people's doors is that most people don't really care about the social issues.
It's the economy, stupid.
Yeah, it's the economy, stupid. So for me, should I get elected into the Georgia House? I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, Rainbow Party. I don't care what party you're associated with. The whole point of us going there is to represent the people. And to represent the people is to make their lives better with what we put forward. If we waste a month or however long the session is arguing social issues and not passing things just because the other side had the idea first and we don't want them to look good in the next election, because if this passes and people's lives get better, they're going to thank the Democrats or they're going to thank the Republicans. And we can't say so. All that screws over us on the ground. Like I said, I'm not a career politician. I don't have a whole bunch of backing, a bunch of people behind me. I'm just the neighbor.
So let me ask you, how are you doing campaign-wise as far as dollars? Have you got funds in your campaign right now?
We have about $510.
Okay, at least you're honest.
Yeah, because I don't. Lisa, she has backing from out of state. She got a whole bunch of money from pro-choice organizations out of state. I think right now Planned Parenthood is backing her. So she has everybody and their mother coming out of the woodwork, and I honestly don't understand why. We're just one district out of 159 of them. But I realize through looking at her record why they put so much money behind her is because she's just a yes person.
Yeah.
She's whatever they say, she does. And the day that she goes against them is the day she won't have that seat or their backing anymore.
So do you think she sees you as a threat yet, or do you think you're just going to sneak up on her here at the last minute?
I don't think she'll see me as a threat right now, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
I don't need her seeing me as a threat. It doesn't make a difference in what I do. That's like looking at the score in the middle of the game. So she may or may not see me as a threat. It makes no difference to me.
Have anybody in politics over in Atlanta or Georgia come to you and offer you any backing yet for the race?
They haven't offered backing, but they because my candidacy in this race is only a few weeks old.
Right.
But I was at a Young Republicans meeting last night, and I met with some great people, people who work for senators
right.
and whatnot. So I will be having meetings with the Republican House Caucus and whatnot, and trying to get some backing through them. And then everybody else around will follow suit, especially after the primary when I'll be the only Republican in the race.
Right. Well, good for you. All right, so folks, you're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on WERC 105.5. We're spending the first segment today with Elvis Casely. He is running for the 35th House District over in Georgia. He just announced his candidacy a few weeks ago. He's spending some time with us today. And so, Elvis, we're going to go to break here in about 3 minutes. We'll talk about some of the segments I want to do after the break. Where do you fall on issues as far as immigration?
So as a child of immigrant parents, I believe that to be in this country, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. My family went the right way. They spent years trying to get into the country. My wife's family spent years getting into this country. She still has cousins in Dominican Republic who can't come in yet, and others who were in tears, and we celebrated. We threw a whole party after years of trying to get in, and they got in. They could have easily flown to Mexico or to Canada and come in illegally, and they'd have been done in a couple days. But they didn't do that. So while I feel for the people who are here illegally, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And I think right now, regardless of what the media is showing, regardless of what the pundits are saying, this administration is pretty compassionate with what they're doing, because what other country offers you money to leave the country? We'll give you $1,000 and a flight to anywhere you want to go. That's a good deal to me. Mm-hmm. But if you don't take that and we catch you and we deport you, now it's going to be a whole lot harder for you to get in. So for me on immigration, do it the right way. It's plain and simple. We cannot be a country of lawless streets and no borders. No other country does that, and no other country is chastised about it either.
Let me ask you a question real quick. The second hour, we're going to talk a lot about crime statistics this today. What are the crime statistics like in your district?
Oh, we're one of the safest places in Georgia.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Looks like the music's starting. John's telling me I'm going to break. This is Legal Lowdown. We'll be back after the commercial, folks. Hang on. Talking with Elvis Casely.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather. You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts specializing in criminal defense and family law. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. And now, welcome back to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
All right. You're back for the second half of the first hour of The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, your Alabama lawyer, on 105.5 FM WERC. 102.5 up in Huntsville and 105.9 in Tuscaloosa. Welcome back to the broadcast. We are speaking with Elvis Casely. Elvis Casely, folks. This is a name that you're going to come to know in decades. He's a bright young man. He is running for the 35th Congressional District House over in Georgia, and he has been our guest for the first half hour, and he's back with us. Elvis, question, my man. So what is the issue over in Georgia about state income tax? What's going on there?
So the state income tax right now, every Republican in the Senate and the House and every Republican running, we're all working towards getting it down to zero eventually, the percentage of income tax. Obviously, we have to do that responsibly and gradually bring it down over time. But that's another reason that I'm running. I'm from Florida. The first time I got that state income tax from Georgia, I damn near dropped the letter on the ground. I was like, what do you mean $1,800? So I believe that anybody who is going to be in the House, whether they're Republican or Democrat, they have to be of the mind of finishing that mission, getting that income tax down to zero, because all it does is punish people for working more. You make more money, you should be able to keep more of your money. You're already getting money taken out of your paycheck from the feds. That money goes from you to the federal government, and then it goes back to Georgia anyway. So the federal government gives money to Georgia, so that's your money already. So essentially, they're double dipping. I believe any state that has income tax is double dipping on their taxes. And if they actually need their citizens' tax double dipped on, then there's some sort of overspending going on. And I think a leaner, cleaner government is the best route to go. So that's why, if elected, I too would help continue the push to ultimately bring that percentage down to zero.
When I asked you earlier about who had the majority in the House, you said it was Republicans. Do you know? I'm not trying to put you on the spot here. What is the percentage of Republicans versus Democrats in the Georgia legislature?
I don't know offhand.
That's okay. That's all right. Something you need to go back and work on and come back and tell me. I would think that's something that all people in Georgia would want to get behind, is being taxed less, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to earlier. That a lot of the people that I speak to on the campaign trail, they don't care that I'm a Republican, or at least as a Democrat. They care about the bottom line, kitchen table problems. How much are they going to have to pay in taxes? How much are they going to have to pay when they go to the grocery store? How much is this going to cost them to rent, or their mortgage, or their property taxes? These are the things that people actually care about. And I don't think there's a single person, whether they're Democrat or Republican in Georgia, that wouldn't be happy to pay less taxes.
Right. Before we went to the break, we touched on it and then got thrown sidetracked. So let's go back a little bit and talk about the crime statistics where you are. Tell me about where you live. Is it safe, or is there a lot of crime? Or
no. So I live in Kennesaw.
Okay.
So Kennesaw, Ackworth area is usually ranked within the top 10 safest places in the country, not just in Georgia. So as far as safety and whatnot is concerned there, I give it up to the mayor of Kennesaw, the police that are always, they're not there like embodying on top of you like, oh, I can't look anywhere without seeing a cop. But they're there and they're present and they make themselves known. And I think that is a great deterrent for crime. Also, we have great school programs and we have beautiful parks, and it's very family centered and orientated. So I think all of that plays into why our area is so safe.
Okay. You have a 1-year-old child?
Yeah.
Does your wife, is she working or is she just...
She's a stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom? Okay. We talked a little bit about, you said that there's an issue over in Georgia that you've been out talking to the electorate and the voters about consumer rights. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
So one of the big issues right now, not just in Georgia, but across the country and across the world, because these companies are global, is subscriptions, right? They put a subscription on pretty much everything that you buy now, even things that you would never have thought there would be a subscription on. Your refrigerator, your microwave, your printer. They have printers now that won't print unless you have a subscription. You spend $500+ on a printer that won't do its basic function unless you pay them for the rest of your life. You have car manufacturers who lock features, and they're not even like luxurious features. They're seat warmers. Like your car already has the equipment in it. It has a seat warmer. It has heated steering wheels. It has an entertainment system in it. But these things that you would buy with the car, right? The car that's already overpriced and very expensive nowadays. All these things, you'd buy the car and you'd have it forever. Now, companies like BMW and Toyota, they want to put these features behind paywalls that you have to pay them for the rest of your life. So even if you're well off and you went and you saved up all your money and you bought the car outright, you owe $0 on the car. BMW, Toyota, Ford, all these companies are like, that's not good enough. We want an additional $8 a month for the heated seats. We want an additional $18 a month for the entertainment system. We want another additional $35 a month if you want to get the full use of the engine. They limit how well the engine performs if you don't have the subscription program. And I believe that if we don't fight back right now before this becomes, for me, it's already overblown. But if we don't fight back now to prevent that here in Georgia, this is going to spread everywhere. And it's going to be so embedded in everything that we do that when a president or a governor finally decides to do something about it, they're going to be like, oh, well, you're going to bankrupt our company if you take this out. This is the whole foundation of our company. Oh, we can't do that. All these people are going to lose their jobs. They're going to hold all of our jobs and whatnot hostage and saying, if you take this away from us, we can't employ these people. So we need to fight back on it now. For example, I'll go further with that on things that you quote unquote buy. For example, if you were to buy a movie on YouTube, and it gives you two options. It gives you the option to buy the movie or to rent the movie. Now, you don't want to keep renting it because you love this movie. So I'm going to pay the $18 for the full price of the movie. Ironically, this is the same price as if you were to buy a physical copy. They sell it on YouTube for the same price as a physical copy. But if the makers of that movie, say it's Disney, cancel their license agreement with Google and YouTube, well, now that movie is no longer in your library. The movie that you quote unquote bought. So I believe these companies are using deceptive language and hiding behind their terms and conditions to essentially steal from American people. And if I was elected to Congress, I would make these things, elected to the House, I would make these practices illegal, because everyday people work very hard for their money. All these things are luxuries that they decide, okay, I'm going to get this for a bit of entertainment. I'm going to get this to make my drive better. I'm going to get this to make my work better because it's a better printer, or the refrigerator, it cools better, but it won't cool or it won't do this if I don't have a subscription. They're double dipping again, and taking people's hard-earned money. So I don't think it's right. And I think Georgia can be the stronghold where we stand on the hill and we tell these corporations, no, at least here in Georgia, you won't get away with this.
Yeah. Let me ask you, you're much younger than me, and the people that you're around and talk to, and you're out talking to people running for election. Do you ever talk about, or does it ever come up about the topic of artificial intelligence or AI and taking people's jobs? Have you heard that yet?
Yeah. So when it comes to AI, every single person keeps saying, like anybody in power keeps saying, AI is already here. There's nothing we can do about it. We can either go with it or get run over by it. For me, it depends on what the AI is being used for. I don't see blue-collar jobs ever being taken away by AI. You're not going to have an AI be able to fix your plumbing in the middle of the night. AI is not going to come and save you from a flat tire on the side of the road. AI is not going to build your home. It's not going to build skyscrapers. So whether AI is able to take jobs or not, I think if we proactively support and promote technical jobs, we can alleviate any future job losses where people get careers in things that an AI can take. So I'm not too worried about AI. I don't think a lot of people that I've spoken to, at least, are that worried about it. ChatGPT, I think, just came out yesterday saying that in a few years they might have to change the way they're doing their stuff because they're running out of money. So these platforms, I don't think they're going to last very long, honestly. I think the AI bubble is going to pop.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, ChatGPT is spending billions of dollars and are already sounding the alarms that they're going to have to roll back and they're going to have to put ads in their ChatGPT prompts and stuff just to make ends meet. So, but I don't think the AI is the big boogeyman that everybody thinks it's going to be.
Well, the reason why I ask is in the last 2 weeks, Bill Gates was in the news, and he said essentially that within 5 years, you're not going to need as many OBGYNs, physicians. And Elon Musk has been out in the news in the last 5 years. Of course, he has a stake in this as well. He's talking about universal basic income, that folks may only have to work 2 or 3 days a week. Now, some of this may be corporate jobs. Some of this may be banking jobs, things like that, right? And I have a friend that is an anesthesiologist, and he's extremely concerned about AI. And he tells me things like, well, Joe, even at the hospital, people that we do anesthesiology on, all these equipment, all we do is plug in the numbers, and really the computers are really keeping the people awake or asleep during a procedure, things like that. So I'm always curious to see what's going on in different parts of the country, what's getting out there about different topics. And I know AI is got to be one of the biggest topics in the world right now. So.
Yeah, the thing with AI is that AI is fallible because it was made by fallible people. We're human. So I don't think that there's ever going to be a time where we can put somebody in an operation room and have all the robots do whatever they do and turn our back. There's never going to be a time where we can not monitor what's going on with AI. So there's always going to have to be somebody there working the machine.
Right.
So while AI can take some jobs like accounting or a bank teller or something like that, when the AI doesn't understand what the person's saying and you're like, I need to talk to a person because there's something outside of the algorithm that you're not understanding because you're not a human, there's still going to be a need for humans.
Right. Just in my own personal background, people have been pushing AI to us to answer our phones, and we experiment a little bit with that. But it is my belief, and it's just my belief for at least the next 5 years or 10 years or however long I continue to practice law, people want to talk to people. Mm-hmm. People want to call and get a robot. So even though we have, people that answer the phones when we're not available, and we have AI receptionists as well, people still want to talk to live people when they call a law office. So anyway, it's just my thought on that.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
On that point, I think that if we take the position that AI is going to take all the jobs, right, and we accept that, then the responsible thing to do is to promote jobs that AI needs a human to do, right? AI needs a human to code it, right? AI and all these different things, they need coders. They need people who know how to work computers. So in that, it would be irresponsible for us to not at least put some effort towards teaching these things to kids. We used to have hundreds of people working the lines at a call place. You'd call in and he's like, connect me to Joe Ingram. Okay, 1 second. And they'd have to pull a wire and do all this stuff. Now we have people who code, and those jobs don't exist anymore. But if they had taught these people, hey, learn how to work the system that's going to replace you, then they can easily transition. Or if we start teaching kids now, hey, put this AI program or this coding program in schools the way they used to teach us how to type in computer class growing up. Elevate that to teaching kids how to code. Give kids more options other than a degree in social studies or something like that. Give them practical means to be prepared for the future. And I think that's a big issue right now when it comes to student loans. Mm-hmm. The government is giving out loans for all kinds of jobs or studies that they know there's no jobs in. There's no way for them to ever get a job in that field in order to pay back that loan. And they're still like, yeah, here's $100,000 to a 17-year-old kid who doesn't know what to do with it. In Georgia, we have our dual, it's like a dual enrollment type program where you can get a technical degree while in high school and whatnot. And that was extended, I believe, last year. And it's a great program. And to bring it back to the obvious at hand, I'm running against Lisa Campbell. She voted against something like that. She voted no to extend a program that allows kids to get technical degrees while getting their high school diploma.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by we need people who, and I don't know, I've never met this woman. I don't presume her to be dumb or illiterate. If she's where she's at right now, she has to have some level of cognitive ability. So I would assume that she would understand the benefits of that bill. So if I am to assume that she's smart enough to know the benefits of the bill and still vote no against it, now I have to question who told you to vote no. Or did you vote no simply because a Republican said, hey, this is a good idea? And if either way you go with that is a bad situation to be, because we elected her in our district to be our representative. So if somebody's telling her how to vote, that's a problem. And if she, on the other hand, if she's voting against something simply because she doesn't like the person who promoted the bill or sponsored the bill, that's another problem, because now you're shooting us in the foot. The bill passed ultimately without her vote, but still, she could have been a hindrance on passing something that is good for the Georgian people simply because A, somebody told her to vote that way, or B, she just voted no because she saw an R next to the person's name. And both are scary.
Yeah. So are you of the opinion that even though if you win the election, you have an R behind your name, you're a Republican? If you read the bill, you don't like it, you're not going to toe the party line, you're going to vote your conscience or what your constituents that put you in election for?
I would vote my conscience every time. For me, it's not about though I call myself a Republican, it's not about me being a Republican or them being a Democrat or independent or libertarian. It's representing the people who put me there. And if I think that something is good for society in our district, I'll vote yes on it. If I think it's bad, I'll vote no on it. It doesn't, whoever promoted it is irrelevant to me.
Right. What do you think about term limits in having elections?
I think term limits should have, I'm surprised that the Founding Fathers didn't put that in to begin with, because all these issues where people are voting based on party lines would be eliminated if we had term limits, because people would have nothing to lose, because a lot of these people, their decision is based on the next election or how close the next election is. If they didn't have another election to run for, they would vote their conscience because it doesn't make a difference politically to them. Look at every president in their final term does a whole bunch of stuff that they would have never done in their first term because they didn't have a re-election to go for. Not Nancy Pelosi. Elizabeth Warren took a call from President Trump, and they were discussing policy, and she didn't praise him, but there seemed to be almost a understanding that they would work together. And I'm not sure if she's running again. I may be wrong on this. Don't quote me, but I believe she's not running again. So these are the type of things that happen when there's a term limit or somebody's not running for office anymore. They are more willing to do something that aligns with their conscience rather than it aligning with their party.
Right. Or benefits the country as a whole, or benefits the state as a whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, if it doesn't benefit Georgia, I won't vote for it. That's for the same way somebody at the U.S. House would say America first, I'm Georgia first. If we're outsourcing all our jobs to Florida or Alabama or North Carolina or something, that would not be good for the state of Georgia. Georgia is a hub for work. People move to Georgia for work. A lot of them last night at the meeting I was at were asked how many people moved here because of a job. And damn near the entire audience raised their hand that they were born in Georgia and stayed in Georgia because of their job, or they came from another state to Georgia because of a job.
Hey, Elvis, we got about 2 minutes left. So tell the audience out there, how can they reach out to Elvis Casely if they want to support you, back you, find out more about you for the race over in Georgia?
If you want to find out more about me or talk directly to me, you can go to elvis4ga.com. All the emails come directly to me. Like I said, my team is me, my wife, my son, and God. So if you call me, you text me, you email me, you get me. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, folks, we have spent the first hour with Elvis Casely. Elvis Casely. Folks, remember that name. He is a bright young man. You're going to hear more from him over the years to come. I have no doubt about it. I have all the faith in the world in him. Elvis, I wish you well in your election and in your primary this year. I hope you success in whatever you do in life. Elvis is a fine young man. He drove from Georgia here today. He said, Joe, the weather's bad. I said, dude, man, I said, you got to be tougher than that. And I'm always right, Elvis. the weather station, they're in cahoots with the grocery stores. It's a scam. So there's nothing that's going to happen. But, folks, Elvis Casely, check him out. You can find him on YouTube. And we wish him well in his next journey of his life. And maybe if you win, you'll come back and be on the show again.
Absolutely. ElvisForGeorgia.com. Well, ElvisForGA.com.
ElvisForGA.com. Okay, that's fantastic. All right, folks, you're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on 105.5 WERC, 102.5 up in Huntsville, and 105.9 in Tuscaloosa. We spent the first hour with Elvis Casely, who is running for the 35th House over in Georgia. And we'll be back for the second hour. We're going to talk a lot about criminal statistics, and we'll be back after the break. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram of Joe Ingram Law. Don't forget to follow Joe's Legal Lowdown podcast on iHeart. If you need a private legal consultation, reach out to Joe on his website, joeingramlaw.com. Tune in again next Saturday for the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by any other lawyer. He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram of Joe Ingram Law. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years' experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Alabama's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. You're back with the Legal Lowdown. Saturday, January 24th, second hour. Spent the first hour with Elvis Casely. We're going to talk about legal news this week nationally, and then we'll talk about some state news. Didn't find much to talk about this week, folks. I think the big story nationally has to be Davos. It's where all the world leaders, policymakers come, talk. It's kind of like the Kentucky Derby of policymakers and people that make the world move for us every day. Back in the day, before King Charles became king, when he was Prince Charles, he would go every year. He was a staple. Prince William, I don't think, was there. King Charles was ahead of his time. He was a true intellectual. He had great ideas on maintaining green spaces, food sources, things like that. He was really ahead of his time. Anyway, California Governor Newsom was there. He wasn't invited to the party. He just showed up to harass Trump. He couldn't get in to a lot of the chats. He really wasn't wanted there. We have a rule in this country. When the President of the United States goes across the pond for foreign business, you don't attack our president when he's doing business on behalf of the country. It's just an unwritten rule. Newsom shouldn't have been there. Anyway, former Vice President Al Gore was there. You know, the guy that always talked about the sky falling and the oceans would rise and New York would be underwater. This is the same guy that told us that we didn't need to eat meat. We didn't need to use electricity. This is the same gentleman that has a private airplane where he flew to Davos. And when he got off the plane, he got on in a private car, and he has a private villa over in Davos. And Gore still telling everybody how to live their lives. If you live up in Tennessee, he has a mansion on a hill. Guess what? Do you remember the movie of Christmas Vacation, Clark Griswold, where he takes the two electrical cords and he pushes them together and all the power goes down in the city? That's kind of like where Al Gore lives. His house is lit up like a Christmas tree 24/7. He's never there, but he tells you to conserve your power. That falls under the category of rules for thee, not for me, as always. Jamie Dimon was there. He is the head of J.P. Morgan Bank. Love Jamie Dimon. He is the man of Wall Street. Wherever he goes, he answers questions. He gives real answers because he's not in politics. He's a banker. He wants to bank with everybody, and they bank with 30 countries, by the way. I love Jamie Dimon. You'll never see him run for Federal Reserve Chair, governor, or you'll never see him try to be a Treasury Secretary. I just don't see that in his makeup. He's all about making money, and I love Jamie Dimon. President Trump was there in Davos. He planted the flag about Greenland and left in the night. For everybody out there in the world that is freaking out about Trump in Greenland being a dictator, let me give you some statistics. Historically, 1867, Andrew Johnson, he explored buying Greenland and Iceland right after we acquired Alaska. 1970 time was the last time the USA acquired a purchase of land. After World War II, FDR, U.S. took over Greenland's defense while Denmark was occupied. 1946, Truman offered to buy Greenland for $100 million in gold. During the Cold War, Eisenhower, Kennedy, both nonstop negotiations for bases, radar, missiles. We had the Bay of Pigs going on down in Cuba. Post-Cold War era, Clinton, Bush, Obama. That's two Democrats and a Republican. All wanted to expanded the Arctic security and missile defense. So there you go. And Trump brought it up in his first administration in 2019. It probably would have happened then, but he got just a little bit sidetracked with something called COVID. So that's how we got where we are today. And this is an election year in 26, and President Trump knows he has 9 months to do whatever he's going to do legislatively in the country because he's a lame duck after the election. So he's doing everything he can internationally. So he's going all out 24/7. That's how we got to where we are today. Another story of interest out of California, Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland. He's an actor. His father was Donald Sutherland. Great actor. Loved him. Anyway, Kiefer has had issues in the past with alcohol, from what I'm told in the news. He was in an Uber car. Have you heard this story? He assaulted the Uber driver and tried to choke him, and he got arrested for it. Now, there's two line of thoughts here. One, they say alcohol was in place, or two, it's just possible out in California that the Uber driver was an illegal alien. No, he wasn't a migrant. He was an illegal alien. Maybe Kiefer couldn't understand him, so he tried to choke him to get out of the car. That would be my defense if I was his defense attorney. So we're gonna go on the lather. Anyway, another story out of California. Do you remember the TV show of the 90s, Beverly Hills 90210? Shannon Doherty. Shannon passed away about a year ago with brain cancer. Anyway, she filed for divorce in July of 24, filed her divorce settlement. Well, her ex-husband has come out of the woodworks in the last week and filed some motions saying that Shannon still owed some money to him from the divorce decree. Now, if I were judge, and I'll never be judge, but if I could be judge just for a day, I would say, go away. She's deceased. She needs to rest, and it's over. Whatever happened, happened. And I don't know the law in California, but let's just presume for a moment that if there's any money left, I guess it would be in her residual estate. I guess you could take it up with filing a claim against her estate. But if I'm the divorce judge, I bounce this out of court and say, denied. It's over. or go on TMZ, tell your story, whatever you want to do, write a book. But you're not going to collect any money here. She's gone. Another national story this week. We've had 2 weeks of really good oral arguments before the United States Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court this week had oral arguments related to when President Trump fired one of the Federal Reserve governors. And they had oral arguments, and the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, was there in support. And all of the living former Fed chair governors filed an amicus brief in support of her. And for those of you out there saying, Joe, what is that? What's an amicus brief? Well, amicus is just a fancy word for saying a friend of the court, meaning you have groups, you have committees, you have corporations, you have whatever entity. Anytime there's a big case, someone may write an amicus brief in support or opposition of a side of the case. And they all signed it. Greenspan, Bernanke, Janet Yellen, they all signed in support of her, saying it was illegal for President Trump to fire her. Something that I found really curious out of this case, Sonia Sotomayor came out during oral arguments and said, "Why are you here? This case is working its way through the system. This case isn't ripe yet. Why are you here? You're cutting the line." Found that interesting from her. But the justices seemed to tip their hand that they didn't think Trump had the right to fire the person. So we'll see how that case turns out in a few months. The Supreme Court is going on hiatus until about February the 20th, I think. Do you remember last week when I talked about Monica Lewinsky, how she had become really media savvy? Hit President Trump at the right time? Yep. Guess what, folks? Congress took my advice. They voted this week. They have sent a referral of contempt of a congressional subpoena to the DOJ for President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, bleach bit, take a hammer to the hard drive, Clinton, that stands out there today, this last week on Twitter, talking about a little child and an ice and the rule of law. Hillary followed the rule of law, okay? You don't get to pick and choose which laws you follow. Hillary and Bill Clinton, that couple, honest to goodness, they are like Bonnie and Clyde of history. They will gamble every chance legally with the law. They are a true pair in life. Ride or die. They ride or die together in every decision that they make. But they do have a referral to the Department of Justice for failure to show up for a congressional subpoena. So there you go. I was right again last week. This next story is just a little funny, guys. Now, just bear with me. Just hang on with me for just a minute. There is a young lady in Texas. Her name is Miss Martinez. She's 24 years old. She likes to work out. She's what we call a gym rat. She was at a local gym, and she's in a relationship with a significant other. Anyway, her partner is in a relationship with somebody else, a paramour. The paramour comes into the gym. Dun, da, da, da. Guess what Miss Martinez allegedly does? She takes up a 25-pound dumbbell and throws it at the paramour. Now, this is what I call a bad girl. These are the kind of people I like to represent. I like her. I know you're in Texas. If you have the money, I'll come out there and represent you. I like bad girls. Now, think about this for just a second. You know, with all the camera technology we have today, you know there were cameras in the gym, right? You know there's photo evidence. Allegedly, they say alcohol may be involved. Maybe she was drunk. Girl came in at night. She threw a dumbbell plate at her head. I don't know. My bet is to put her on the Olympic team for throwing barbells, or what is that sport where no, where they throw the little ball down the ice. What's that called? Curling. Maybe she'd be good at that. Curling. Yeah. Thank you, John. Anyway, I like bad girls, and this is somebody I'd like to represent. I know y'all think I'm sadistic out there. I just thought it was a cool story. State legal news this week. Not much going on. I am being told that everybody down in Montgomery wants to do whatever they're going to do, and they want to get out as fast as they can so they can get home and campaign for the primaries in May. So they're going to try to get some things done that they can run on and get out as fast as they can. Something that has come up recently, there is an attorney named Harry Steele down in Bay Minette, which is Baldwin County. He approached a councilman, Matt Franklin, back in September. Anyway, the two got into a scuffle. So some legislation was presented by Chris Elliott about making it a felony to attack a person that is an elected official. Make it a Class C felony, punishable up to 10 years in prison. There's a lot of commentary on this, and there's some people for it, and there's some people against it. Those that are against it look at it this way. Senator Greg Albatron of Atmore feels like that we are creating classes of people. Why should, if I hit a politician, it be more severe than if I hit a regular person on the street? I get that. However, I think our politicians, whatever they're elected to, whatever office it is, they need to be protected, because if they have fear or retribution to vote a certain way that they're going to be attacked when they walk out of the building, then they're not going to vote their conscience, or we hope they vote their conscience. So I'm okay with this legislation. I really am. If you're a legislature and you are attacked or assaulted, it should be a felony. And here is how you write the legislation. If you can prove the intent of the underlying crime was related to a political motivation, then it's a felony. There you go. It's in the wording of the language of the law. So that is my thought on that legislation that is being bantered around the House. We are going to spend the majority of this next segment talking about some criminal statistics. Last week we talked about divorce statistics in the state. So now we're going to talk about some criminal statistics related to Alabama. First, we're going to talk about Birmingham. According to some statistics out, now these aren't definitive because they're preliminary in nature. We just finished 25. Presumably, though, Birmingham had a major decrease in crimes in 25 from 24. The report is Birmingham had 88 homicides as opposed to 152 in 24. That's a good decrease. That's really good for all of us. That's a fall of about 17%. Property crimes. Property crimes are down 9.1%. In Jefferson County, they had a 28% drop in crimes, but they had an increase in crimes related to rape and aggravated assault. As far as convictions go, the number of people convicted of felonies continues to rise. 4,000 in the last 2 years have been convicted of felonies, according to the Alabama Sentencing Commission. I don't know what that is, other than maybe we're playing catch-up still from COVID. I know here in Jefferson County, we are working on 2023 cases. So maybe that is the increase of felony convictions. And just because someone's convicted of a felony doesn't mean they're actually going to prison. It just means it's a conviction. Executions. Alabama ranks second in the nation for executions in 25. I'm all for that. If you are convicted of the ultimate crime and you're given the death penalty, cook them, fry them, bullet in the head, whatever you got to do, carry out justice. Prison population remains pretty much the same. We are building a huge prison down there near Montgomery right now that someday they're going to finish. Other factors out there. Let's see what else we got. Some of the things that may be causing less property crimes, think about it, folks. We have cameras everywhere. We have iPhone technology. We're easy to find people. Most people probably have either a Ring doorbell camera, or they have a security system, or there's a camera somewhere in the neighborhood. It's just really hard to commit property crimes in this day and time, like robberies, assaults, things like that. So that's something to think about as far as crime rates coming down. There's always going to be petty theft crimes, and those fall into the category of people shoplifting, people taking food from the grocery store, people stealing from CVS, Rite Aid, things like that, petty theft. But by and large, burglary into homes, I think, is down, and that's a good thing, and it's related to all the technology we have across the board. So there you go. Technology catches up with the population. The police will tell you it's because of their hard work. Well, I don't know how they prevent murders. If someone's going to commit the most heinous crime, I don't know how you stop that. I don't know how you stop somebody from committing a rape or a robbery because you're out fighting crime. If people are going to do something, they're going to do it. So I don't know how they take credit for that. I think it's technology out there. That's what I think it is. That's just my opinion. Sheriff Mark Pettaway takes credit for the crime rates being down due to more people out on the street, more people patrolling, more people being active. Well, that's good to see more people out in the neighborhoods. He also gives credit to the technology that we all have now to fight crime. So that is the sheriff's take on that. We're going to go to break here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about statistics up in Huntsville and Tuscaloosa, crime statistics. But the good news is it looks like crime is coming down in a big way in the state of Alabama, which is really good because crime was really bad for a number of years. And Bessemer, I hate to say it, folks, Bessemer is the most dangerous city probably in Alabama for whatever reason. But we're going to talk about, after the break, we're going to talk about crime statistics up in Huntsville and Tuscaloosa. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. The first hour we had Elvis Casely. He's running for the House District over in Georgia. If you need to call my office, you can call us 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297. You can look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. If you have a question or a comment, go to your little red app on your phone. That's the Spy for Rent hotline. Spy for Rent hotline. Jeff Hammock, Corey Fuller, the names to know for investigation in the state of Alabama. They can serve papers. They can investigate your spouse. They can investigate the paramour. They can do forensic searches on cell phones. They can do bug sweeps in homes. And yes, they do those for some of my clients. They can do all of this, and they are the best in the business, and they are the exclusive partner of my firm. Jeff and Corey will take good care of you if you need them, Spy for Rent. So that is the first segment of the second hour. Most of you are probably at home today being scared by the weather. Guess what? They got it wrong again, folks. Nothing happened. But have a good cup of coffee. We got one more segment to go. There's a lot of good things to talk about. I got some teases coming for the next couple of weeks. You're going to be really shocked. If you listened to our broadcast last week, Pam Casey was a great guest. We hope that we're going to have other people that are running for the AG's office in the next coming weeks, and we're about to announce those. We also have some people running for other offices, maybe governor, maybe senator. Got some teases coming up, folks. I'm really excited about some things in the work, and I think you're really going to enjoy those interviews that we get to bring you. It gives you a long format, gives you a chance to listen to them, see what they're about, and I think you'll enjoy it. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 105.5. We'll be back after the break. Okay? See ya.
You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts specializing in criminal defense and family law. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. And now, welcome back to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
All right. You're listening to Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. 105.5 WERC, 102.5 up in Huntsville, 105.9 in Tuscaloosa. You're listening to Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. If you need me, you can call my office, 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297. You can look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. We had Elvis Casely. First hour, we were talking about criminal statistics this week. Last week, we did some divorce statistics. We just talked about Birmingham. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the Tuscaloosa area. This is the latest statistics I could find. Through the end of July, homicides are down 38%. There you go. That's pretty good. Attempted murders have dropped in half. Felony assaults with a firearm are down 15%. These are considered crimes of violence, so that's good. People shooting into occupied dwelling or vehicles are down 34%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good numbers. Property crimes are trending down in 25 as well. Robbery, carjacking cases down 32%. Unlawful breaking and entering of a vehicle, the most common property crime, is down about 18%. These statistics are coming from the Tuscaloosa Police Department, but we take them at their value, we take them at their word. So these are good statistics overall. Here again, they attribute the downward spiral to more people out on the street, better technology, and probably when people get convicted, if they're actually getting sentenced in the state of Alabama, as opposed to being in a coastal elitist state where they just walk out of the jail, they know that there's going to be real retribution if they commit a crime of violence in the state of Alabama. So there you go. Also, Tuscaloosa has their own in-house forensics lab that a lot of cities do not have. So their cases move along a little bit faster. They take credit for that. So that helps with drug cases as well in the Tuscaloosa area. Up in Huntsville's the growing area. Leaps and bounds. They've added all kinds of acres. They've added all kinds of businesses. They have acquired all kinds of land here in the last couple of months. Eli Lilly, all the bases up there on the Redstone Arsenal. With all the people coming up there, what are you going to face criminally statistics? Is it safe? Well, the preliminary numbers for 25, according to the Huntsville Police Department, they are reporting significant decreases of major crime, down 26%. Violent crimes are down 39% from 2019 to 2024. So that's during the COVID area. And they say all this is despite a 20% population boom or increase. In other words, 20% more people are coming in, but the crime rates are going down 39%. So if you're moving up there, you got to feel pretty good about moving in. They accredit community involvement, and again, technology for the drop. Cell phone technology, the Ring doorbell cameras, security cameras. Cameras are on all the street corners. It is just really, really hard, folks, to commit a property crime today and not be seen or caught or find a tag number or search you in some way. It's just really hard today to commit those kind of crimes. Specific data up in Huntsville from 24 to 25. There were 18 homicides, 124 rapes, 127 robberies, 823 aggravated assaults. Drug crimes up there, fentanyl and meth. Those are the big crimes now. We still have the marijuana cases, but the big cases are the fentanyl and the meth cases. Don't know why. Huntsville is considered safer than many areas. It's ranked highly in safety studies nationally compared to other areas of Alabama. In 2025, they are reporting a 26% decrease in homicides. Their overall crime rate, they say, is down 3%. Okay. 3% is not bad. So the statistics seem to be similar across the board, whether you are in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, or Huntsville. Crime is going down. I have to give a little bit of credit nationally to President Trump, because we're also tightening down on the borders. Many people aren't coming in. We're keeping people out. I think that has to have an effect as well. So that is some statistics out there related to crimes. According to the Alabama Criminal Justice Department, they put out their own statistics. Incidents of property crimes decreased almost in half between 2013 and 2023. That is 3,000 per 100,000 residents. So there you go. That's a pretty good number. Their latest statistic is in 2023, there were 11% lower than the national average. So I guess according to the Alabama Criminal Justice study, we are 11% lower than the national average. I'm not sure if I buy that number, but it's what they're reporting. The number of crimes involving larceny decreased 45%. Burglary is down 71%. Motor vehicle theft is down 6%. So there you go. Everybody's reporting that crime is down across the board. I'll tell you this, we didn't have as many criminal cases last year as we did as divorce cases. So maybe there's a trend there as well. I don't know. I just report what they give us out. There are some bills that I'd like to talk about in the Alabama legislature. that enhances penalties for undocumented immigrants who commit violent crimes. If they are charged with a Class D felony and it is determined that the person is an illegal immigrant, it would automatically make the crime a Class C felony. So if they're charged with a Class D felony and it turns out that they're illegal, it bumps it to a Class C felony. That gives an enhancement and an incentive to keep illegals out of here if they know that they're going to get increased penalties for being charged with a crime. There is a bill that was put forth by Representative Chris England out of Tuscaloosa, would make a Class A misdemeanor punishable up to 1 year in jail and a fine of $6,000 if a person in possession of a firearm does not disclose the fact to the law enforcement officer during a stop. Not disclosing a firearm possession to an officer is already illegal. Thus, the bill would increase the penalty. There is nothing more dangerous for a police officer when they stop someone than to know whether or not they are armed or not armed. You need to know that. It changes how they may look at you when they stop you. So I think that is a bill that may pass. The thing about the Alabama House Legislature and Senate, just about all bills that pass, Kay Ivey is going to sign. So there you go. There is something else brewing in the Alabama legislature. The Alabama State Legislature has pushed for criminal justice that start back in 25. And you can see that in the sentences and crimes, just as in the case of the cannabis and hemp laws that were put under the authority of the ABC board as of May of 25. We talked briefly about this last week with Pam Casey, the DA of Blount County. Used to, you could go into a lot of convenience stores or what we call C stores, and you could buy different types of hemp products or cannabis products and drink them or take them or use them or vapes or whatever. And for all intents purposes, if you hot test them, they test positive for marijuana. It is. And so they passed some laws and they moved all these products under the umbrella of the ABC board. So you can't sell a lot of these products now, or you're not supposed to, in C stores or convenience stores. Now, other stores that sell a lot of these cannabis products legally, like OG Puff, by the way, they've lost a lot of business, they've lost a lot of revenue, and in turn, they've had to get rid of employees because we enacted some of these laws. Every time you pass a law, there's good, bad, and ugly. It's going to affect somebody here. It's going to affect somebody on the other side of the equation. It's just something to think about. So that is some crime statistics in the state to talk about for the week. So, I'm Joe Ingram. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown. You can call my office, 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297, if you need a consultation. We represent people in divorce cases. We represent people that need a prenup. We represent people that need a postnup agreement. We represent people that are seeking alimony. People that need a modification of a divorce decree. If you listen to the first hour, we talked about someone that had left a message for the show, Emily, and I'll briefly go through that again because we got a little bit more time. So she's married, been married, I think, roughly 19 years. Her husband is the primary breadwinner. She's been a stay-at-home mom. She's raised their child. The child's about to go off to college. The husband, for all intents and purposes, has told Emily, I'm going to leave you in May or June when the child graduates high school. Get ready. Their home is paid for. Good. Their cars are paid for. Good. He makes a good income, and they have a sizable amount in his 401k plan. And she left a message and says, Joe, where do I start? Well, this is the same conversation we have in every consultation. We ask you to bring in income tax returns, roughly 2 to 5 years. Or if they own a company and they're a professional or they're in a partnership, maybe 10 years of tax returns. If they file a 1120 tax return and they get a K-1, all these terms would matter to the accountant for you out there. And we say bring in pay stubs, bring in bank statements. See if you can go get a 401k statement that is recent. Go get us information as to your home. Do you have a mortgage? Who holds the mortgage? How much do you owe on your home? How much equity do you have in your home? What is a fair market value if we have to sell the home and split the proceeds? Those are the kind of documents we ask you to go find out and do some work for us. And so then we can sit down and have a healthy conversation about what you're looking at. And by the way, if your husband tells you he's out the door in a few months, let me ask you some other questions that are really hard to ask, but they matter. Are the two of you still living in the same marital bedroom? Or have you decided to start sleeping separately? If you're not living together as husband and wife, you might want to think about an investigator. Do they have a significant other? Do they have a paramour? Have you checked their social media accounts lately? Have they reconnected with someone on Facebook or Instagram or on TikTok? These are questions that you have to ask. And so from there, we can advise you of how to proceed. The best course of action is always if you can sit down and reasonably resolve your case with your spouse or your significant other. Have a healthy debate on how you're going to resolve the case. If you can't do that, then you make a consultation and you go see a divorce lawyer, Emily, presumably in early March or early April before he's out the door. He might already be moving money. He might be not putting as much money in his 401k plan right now because he knows he may have to give you some. He may be moving money offshore to another account that you don't know about. These are all the kind of conversations to have and to be thinking about. Do some prep work to get ahead of the game. All of this is relevant. All of this matters. We do this all the time. So those are the kind of things that you need to go do, Emily, in your situation. And by the way, thank you for leaving us a message on the Spy for Rent hotline last week. So, folks, this is the last segment of the week. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. If you need to call my office for a consult, phone number is 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297. You can look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. If you have a criminal case, you can call my office as well. We represent people in state court that are charged with felonies. We represent people in federal court that are charged with felonies. And we represent people in municipal court that are charged with misdemeanors. Joe, what is the difference? Well, a felony is classified as either A, B, C, or D. A felony is the worst, which is 10 to life. Class B felony is 2 years to 20 years. Class C felony is 1 year and a day to 10 years. That's the difference. Misdemeanors are classified as well, A, B, C. Class A misdemeanor carries a penalty up to a year in the city jail or the county jail. That's the difference. So if you're charged with a misdemeanor, the most you're going to get is either a year in the city jail or the county jail. And it's not likely you're going to get a year unless it's something really serious. And every case is unique, so I'm not giving out legal advice over the airwaves. So if you need representation, be sure to call my office, 205-825-5297. If you're home this morning listening to the show, you're enjoying looking out at the weather. You're seeing the people on the TV stations telling you how they just missed it. How if this had done this and this had done that, we would have had 2 inches of ice. None of it happened. have a cup of coffee, join the show, like us, download, listen to us, tune in, become a part of the broadcast. So I want to tease a couple things we got coming for the next couple weeks. We hope to have Catherine Robertson. Joe, who is Catherine Robertson? Well, she works for the Attorney General's office. She's running for the AG's office. We anticipate having her coming up in a few weeks. We are looking at having a couple other folks that are running for the AG's office. We are trying to bring to you some people that may be running for the Senate. We are trying to have a conversation with somebody running for governor. We reach out to them. We tell them, we give them a platform. They get to come have a long-form interview with you. It's up to them. So we're trying to do that. In a couple of weeks, folks, not only will you get to listen to the broadcast, you'll get to watch the broadcast. We are going to start bringing it to you live via stream on my YouTube channel. That's going to be coming in February. We're very excited about that. We're looking forward to it. I don't have the voice for radio, and I sure don't have the face for TV, but you're going to get both. So there you go. Can't help it, but you got to put it out there. Last week, we had tremendous downloads from our interview with Pam Casey. We had about a 200% increase in downloads. I credit that to her and people that wanted to hear what she had to say, and it was a good interview. And by the way, just to follow up again from the first hour, she referenced somebody that was sentenced this week up in Blount County for a sex crime of a child. And yes, she did argue for the person to get life in prison, and the judge did give the person life in prison. So there you go. We are headed down the road in the state of Alabama if you commit a sex crime of a child to try to probably make it legislation to give them the death penalty. There are other states that are doing that, and we are headed in that direction. It's coming. I'm not arguing for it or against it. I'm just telling you where we're headed. We are definitely headed in that way. Pam stuck to her guns. She argued it, and she stuck to her word. So there you go. Kudos to Pam Casey in that position there. So this has been a great show today. I've enjoyed it. We had Elvis Casely. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on 105.5 WERC. You're listening to us up in Huntsville, 102.5, and in Tuscaloosa, WRTR 105.9. We enjoy having both of you become a part of our show this year. We've been getting some feedback, and we're glad to be there, and we hope you continue to give us some feedback of things you want to hear. The things that we're really interested in for the next couple of months before the primary is to get the folks in that you're going to vote for in elections so that you get to hear what they have to say in a long format. I'm not here to make a judgment one way or another. I just give them a platform so they get to talk to you, and you get to hear what that person has to say on the issues that matter to this state and to us as a nation. So that is the goal for the people that are running for office while we're trying to have those people on this show. As always, we thank you for being a part of our show. You can always call my office, 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297. If you need an investigator, spy for rent, Jeff Hammock, Corey Fuller are the names to know. Those are the people that are the investigators of Alabama. They're the best in the business. They're the only ones I use, and they can do whatever you need them to do for you. They're the best at what they do. That's what I say. So, parting thought today before we get out of here. Do y'all know who David Goggin is? He's a former U.S. SEAL. I like him because he's a runner. If you're like me and you're in your 50s, the goal should be to escape from a body that looks and feels 15 years younger, to cultivate a mind that is calm, clear, and still driven with purpose to love and protect your small circle, to wake up ready to go to work for your dream, not someone else's dream. Don't go work for the man. and to leave behind the person who chased comfort and distractions. 50 isn't the end of anything, it's the beginning of everything. That is my philosophy of the 50s, folks. And if you're in my age bracket, I hope you feel the same way. And for those of you that are still following your New Year's resolutions, God love you. Most people have quit. I can see it. People in the gyms, people on the roads, a lot of people have already cashed in. If you held on for dry January, well, you got just about another week, and then you can go hit the bottle again if that was your goal for the month of January, is dry January. The good news coming up for us next week, we get through January, we get into February, the days get longer and longer, the nights get shorter and shorter. We're making it, folks. We're in Alabama. We don't like cold weather. So this week has been a little bit of an inconvenience. Next week is going to be really cold for us. I'm told it's going to be really tough doing some runs. Not looking forward to next week out running in the streets. It's going to be down in the teens next week. That's going to be brutal. So thank you for listening to our broadcast as always. You're listening to the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 205-825-5297, 205-825-5297. You can look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. You can speak to my intake specialist. They can get you in for a consult. Folks, we got some great guests coming in the next few weeks. Catherine Robertson's going to be on. We've got some other people running for the AG's office. We got people that are running for governor that we're trying to get to come in. We got some people that are going to be running for senator that we're talking to. If you've listened to some of the news in the last week, this is a little tease. Some people may come talk to us because they want a chance to get back in the race. Just teasing it up a little bit. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Got to go. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Legal Lowdown with your lawyer, Joe Ingram of Joe Ingram Law. Don't forget to follow Joe's Legal Lowdown podcast on iHeart. If you need a private legal consultation, reach out to Joe on his website, joeingramlaw.com. Tune in again next Saturday for the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by any other lawyer.